I'm a lover for a temple theme in a game, and that's exactly what drew me to Octo Curse, the latest platformer to come out on PlayStation 5. The idea behind this game that's blatantly aimed at the younger audience, is that you control an octopus to try and get to the exit door in over 100 levels. That door is only unlocked by collecting 3 blue crystals, which are dotted throughout the levels, that start off as single screens but eventually become much more maze-like as you wander around the different levels. These levels are split into 5 different chapters, and each chapter has its own kind of theme behind it, which is nice until you get to the final 2 chapters. Chapter 4 is all about ice levels, so you've got lots of slippery surfaces and it makes the controls very finicky to play. Level 5 was an absolute frustration because the entire thing is played in the dark, with just tiny little lights illuminating as you go past them. This meant that you had to rely on shadows to be able to see what traps are in front of you that were going to kill you, but at the same time that meant that you missed all of the collectibles as you went around, because quite often they are hidden in amongst walls or just little jut outs, and so you spend a lot of time jumping on things and spinning at random shadows, hoping that you've caught everything as you go, and invariably missing something. The early levels are a nice introduction to the game though, because the controls are relatively simple: left, right to move around, a jump button, but then also a spin attack too. The spin attack is really, really small, and so you have to run up to the enemies to be able to spin attack and really do the damage. However, the enemies are so dumb and silly and stupid in this game, and they all take just one attack to clear. That's it. There are no bosses in this game whatsoever, it's just around finding the 3 blue crystals and getting to the exit. However, a lot of the achievements are based around trying to collect all of the different golden coins that are in this level, or like tableaus, and they're always behind various different crates, or like hidden in a corner through some additional jumps, for example, and there are treasure chests dotted around, quite often behind hidden walls, for you to then spin attack and collect more coins there. At the end of each level you get a percentage of how much you've completed, and you'll get 3 crowns as well. And so by being able to collect the 3 crystals and getting everything in the levels, you'll get those 3 crowns and then kind of continue on as you go. Once you complete the main game, you'll then also, or main chapter, sorry, you'll then unlock hard mode, which lets you replay the levels again with more additional things to avoid. And this will be more fire traps, more stabby logs, potentially some more enemies. There'll also be some stuff that are much more like chain linked actions that you'll need to take. So things like running through a collection of spikes that will all kind of trigger rhythmically. It's very basic, but it's relatively well done. There are, however, a few bugs that really started to affect my gameplay and got me really annoyed the longer that I played it. The most egregious one that occurred to me the most was this issue that I had whenever your character hit a ledge and the game didn't know whether or not it should go up and be counted as a successful jump, or back down and drop back down again. And so what it does is it almost acts like a bounce pad and flings your character across the screen, and usually towards some spikes for its death. This got frustrating very, very quickly, because some of the tight holes that you have to dive in and out of, as say like spike or sharp wheels are spinning round that kind of go above your head, you end up having to slot yourselves into these holes, and the game doesn't know what to do, and so it starts pinging you back and forth and getting very confused. You can clearly see this whenever you have to stand on a pressure pad as well to unlock or open a door, because the game doesn't know what to do, and so it just goes where it's knowing that there's a collision detection problem, but it's like, do I jump, do I bounce, do I what? And so the game's like freaking out on that. The second issue that I came across, which was even more annoying but just happened less frequently, was that whenever you spoke to a character, I would say 50% of the time the game crashed, and it soft crashed. It didn't like go to like the PS5 main menu or anything like that, but it's just the game becomes unresponsive, and so you have to then restart again. That's fine when they're giving you a tutorial at the beginning of a level. Where it becomes a problem is that when at the end of the chapter you meet your friend and rescue them at the end of that 15th level in each chapter, it crashes, and the 15th level is always the longest one because it's the most mazy and it's got the most things to pick up. And so every single time, the first time I went into this chapter, the game crashed, and I was like, well, what? And then the second time around, it seemed to be okay, but just why? Very frustrating. This screams like mobile classic platforming game that's been translated to a modern day console, and that's fine. It's inoffensive, but it doesn't really stand out for anything at all, and is just so 5 out of 10 throughout its entire experience, plus some bugs as well. I couldn't really recommend this to anyone at all. I do think also because due to the end you've got the ice levels and the dark levels, younger gamers might not really gel too well with that, and so they might find it relatively interesting and quite like a good time waster for a couple of hours maybe at best. Beyond that, I think it's too easy and too straightforward and also too buggy to kind of recommend to the rest of the world. So yeah, odd one this one, but I quite like the theming, I quite like the graphical style. It just needed some bite to it and some finesse to be able to be recommended to anyone to play. For a review over on higherplanegames.com, you guys take care. Higher Plane Games is part of the Higher Plane Network, a completely independent media outlet supported by people like you. The goal is to create the best possible content that cultivates a richer indie scene for games as well as music and entertainment. To find out more and to get involved, visit patreon.com/higherplane-network. Your support makes all the difference, and in return you'll gain access to bonus content and downloads. Thank you for watching.